Wait, no. I don't know why I keep doing that. Like, oh no, I'm on camera now. Yikes. Ah, oh, I can see myself now. Whatever. Hey, I'm starting to feel a little better, people. I'm only lightly, my voice is only lightly echoing inside my head right now. And here's the muse, my pie. Knock that off, Heathen Granny. I'm meaner in 2026. I'm gonna push. There we go. Woohoo! Dumped. Whoa. Was something on before that I missed? Dang it. What did I miss? What did I miss? I must have missed Jade happening before me. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Art Therapy. We're gonna look at blending modes today. Before I say hi to you really quick, I'm gonna make sure I've got the right thing coming on afterwards, because I think maybe my things are here. Hello. I see I see Thomas, I see Jade, I see James Myers, I see If Dots. Hello, If Dots. Let's find out. I can't believe I didn't know what was going on. I guess I woke up really late, so hey. All right, we're gonna go. No scratchy with the no claws. This is a no claws. There's a no claws. All right, let's get rid of this leaderboard. And we're gonna head. Oh, shitting all over Apple with truth bombs. Nice. We'll have to watch that later. Woohoo. Let's see. What you got next? Hey, Simtex Cow is here. What's up? So are you doing techno or beat scholar today? Techno or beat scholar? Before we get, I want to set up where we're going. Original E Urban, I see you out there. Granny, Zach Thong. What? I could just look, I suppose, on techno. All right, that's what I thought. All right, we're set. We're rock and roll. All right, I'm going to bring in my iPad screaming screen, and we're going to get to work right here on the internet. Techno, tech yes, tech maybe. You got that right. All right, oh, I can't say Oj because that's somebody else's. Hey, but don't we all copy Jade? Really? I feel like we all copy Jade. Anyway, go into my corner and we're going to talk about blending modes today. So let me put my nerdy glasses on. Blending modes are something we do in an art program. I'm here in Procreate Help, which is called help.procreate.com if you want to go there yourself. So this is how you mix layers together visually. And we're first just going to do the weird mathy stuff, and then we're going to play around with them and see how that works. And then we'll quickly hop into Superimpose X and check that one out. And then we're going to go over and do the techno thing with Jade. Right on. So multiply mode. I know. Multiplies the luminosity of the base color by the blend color. So the blend color is the ones that's on top. The result is an overall darker and more intense effect. Multiply produces different levels of darkening depending on the luminosity of the blend layer. Multiply is perfect for darkening images or creating shadows. And a lot of times people are using this. I mean, I'm doing kind of mixed media and conceptual art. I'm not doing drawing where there's a lot of real shadows and stuff like that. But it's absolutely, that's what they're designed for, is for the original processes of blending photographs and drawings. Anyway, so darken doesn't blend any pixels, but it compares your base and blend colors, and it keeps the darker of the two. If the blend layer and the base layer color are the same, darken makes no change at all. So I like darken a lot because, that way you can do something that has a lot of intensity and stuff like that, and a lot of dark spots, and won't cover it up with white or whatever. Yes, it's a sick prank they're playing by naming everything either that or you just think everything is naughty. Like double exposure. I know. Waits for herbs. Yes. All right, so shade mode. That's to ensure that the darken mode has better parity across. What does that mean? Color burn is a mode designed to mimic the use of the burn tool, like in what's that major one that I've never used? The Adobe. Anyway, color burn's designed to mimic the use of the burn tool used to darken images in traditional photography. It increases the contrast between the base and the blend colors. This results in a higher mid-tone saturation and reduced highlights. Color burn usually produces a darker result than multiply. So linear burn is interesting because it decreases the brightness of the base color based on the value of the blend color. So these are all just mathematical things. Hey, Denise, what's up? Denise is a Procreate user. One of these days, I had to find out Denise's secrets, right? Procreate X. X, triple X. My app is called Triple X. So linear burn decreases the brightness of the base color based on the value of the blend color. This gives a result that's darker than multiply but less saturated than color burn. It produces more contrast in darker colors than other blend modes. So that you can really get some cool... Yeah, the Procreate manual's insane. Darker color functions somewhat like darken, but instead of looking at each RGB channel individually, darker color takes a composite of all the RGB colors. Now let me pull up Procreate for a second so I can show you kind of where the math is coming from. Let's hop in there. We'll just open this piece of work right here. And the color is this one. So the math is coming out of these, your hue, your saturation, your black, and then your R, G, and B. There's even hexadecimal. Seriously, color, you can do amazing stuff there. You don't see any positions. You don't need to have a position. I know. Anyway, let's go back over and finish. I'm almost out of treats. It looks like the pie is going to be kicked out of here pretty soon because she's probably not going to stop trying to hurt me for treats. Page 69. Yeah, there you go. Everything, page 69. So lighten doesn't blend pixels, but it compares the base and blend colors, and it keeps the brightest of the two. If the blend and base colors are the same, lighten makes no change. I know. Can you hand me some more treats, please, Granny? Screen produces different levels of brightening depending on the luminosity values of the blend layer. So blend layer is the top layer. This makes it an ideal blending mode for brightening images or creating highlights. So You can actually do these things. I gotta stop looking at the chat. It's making me laugh too much. So color dodge is based on the dodge tool used to brighten images in traditional photography. It creates a brighter effect than screen by decreasing the contrast between base and blend colors. This results in saturated midtones and blown out highlights. I know. Add is much like screen or color dodge. It will produce a stronger result. It looks at the color information in each channel and brightens the base color. Add does this to reflect the blend color by increasing the brightness. Lighter color functions like lighten rather than looking at each channel individually. So lighter color is like darker color. So it takes a composite of the RGB channels. Overlay works like a combination of multiply and screen. It both lightens and darkens images by shifting the midtones. Dark blend colors shift the midtones to darker colors. Light tones shift the midtones to brighter colors. Soft light is like a gentler version of overlay. It applies subtle darkening or lightening effects based on luminance values. This achieves a similar result to overlay minus the harsh contrast. Hard light. It's a combination of multiply and screen. It uses brightness values from the blend layer to make its calculations. Results with hard light tend to be more intense. As with all blend modes, reducing the layer's opacity will soften the result. That's the thing. If you can make this really bright and insane looking thing, and then you just bring the opacity down. So I've not learned that yet, dear. I'm writing my own song in Spanish, though. Vivid light is an extreme version of overlay and soft light. Anything darker than 50% gray is darkened. Anything lighter than 50% gray is lightened. Like hard light, it can produce very strong results and may work best with reduced opacity. Hey, Ed Zielinski, welcome. Yeah, you can... Flip horizontal, vertical, right. Linear light is another blend mode that produces very strong results. Linear light combines dodge effects on lighter pixels with burn effects on darker pixels. Its results may also work better with a little reduced opacity. Pin light is an extreme blend mode. It provides darken and lighten simultaneously. This creates a patchy result with all midtones removed. Now, these are great for creating something that you're going to export and use somewhere else. Which hard mix. Yes. Hard mix is an extreme blend mode that flattens detail. It creates a super flat, super saturated look that almost looks posterized. Hard mix provides a result using only white, black, and any of the 6 primary colors: red, green, blue, cyan, magenta, or yellow. Opacity adjustments can soften the result. I know, we do act like teenagers, don't we? As the name suggests in difference, it uses the difference of the base and blend layers to create the resulting blend. White pixels invert the colors of the base layer. Black pixels produce no change, while dark grays apply slight darkening. Exclusion works the same way as difference on black and whites, but it doesn't darken grays. Subtract darkens your colors in a drastic manner by subtracting brightness. Light areas darken the most, while already dark areas produce little change. Divide is the opposite of subtract. Darker colors create brighter results, while already light areas produce little change. Color preserves the luminosity of the base layer while adopting the hue and saturation of the blend layer. That makes it ideal for coloring monochromatic images. For example, if creating a fully shaded character portrait in grayscale, use a color layer over the top to make it to full color. Oh, that's cool. I love that. So, luminosity preserves the hue and saturation of the base layer while adopting the luminosity of the blend layer. Right on. So that's and you can always look all of this up in help.procreate.com. And look at this. Just look, just by going through the side, there's layers. There's gallery, colors, brushes, layers, text, drawing guides, animation, page assist, 3D painting, actions, selections, transform, adjustments. Woo! Right? Jahoo! All right, we're going back to Procreate. But let's not start with this. Let's go back to the gallery and make something new. We're going to make something... I almost always just default to making something that is like 1920 by 1080. There we go. And we could insert a picture. Let's insert a picture. So add your action menu, which is your wrench. And then add, which is to the left. And then it'll be like insert a photo. So we could put this photo of the pie. There it is, look. And then we'll just make a layer over it. Now I want to make her black and white. Let's see if we can make her black and white. So we get back into this layer and we'll get to adjustments. Do, 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 do. Not a half tone. Maybe it's in the color balance. If we want, what happens, how do we make everything? Oh, the color balance is in the highlights and the midtones. Let's undo. There we go. Let's make hue, saturation, brightness. Ooh, that's fun. 50% is normal. So you like desaturate everything. That makes it all black and white. There you go. Yes, she does. She has her own scratchy throne. I know she's already in black and white. We wanted to make the rest of the thing in black and white though. So let's try this thing. Let's try color and see what happens when we put in the color. Let's find a color. Let's find a really bright color. Let's use this bright pink. There we go. See, this just basically colors the whole... This like colorizes everything. Whoa. See, it leaves her white parts white. But it turns my hideous, ugly paneling into a... See, this is mad. So you could actually... Yes. See, but her white parts are still white. Now I'm going to leave a little bit of it blank so that you can kind of, you can see, make that a lot larger. I should have used I should have used a better painting. Here we go. Ooh. So I left this corner. I left the corner. And now we're going to go through, we're just going to take this blending mode. So as you can see it right in here, how it's like half pink, right? So let's go back and we're going to go to all of them. So here's multiply. Let's make that a little smaller so you can kind of see more of it right there. That's something a 5-year-old would do. Yes, we're all 5. That's it. Darken. See, now darken is giving it, that gives the whole thing a really, so now only the light parts are dyed pink. And that gives a really, really nice look. I mean, maybe not on a cat, but she does give a really good way of looking at this. So here's shade. Now remember that shade and darken are really simple. Let's look back and see what shade and darken. So darken doesn't blend the pixels, but it compares and it keeps the darker. I don't know why. Let's see. I guess this is version 5.4. Back to Procreate. All right, so shade, now color burn. Now, see the color burn? It gives this more burny look. Let's see if I can, we'll make a smaller little painting. Ooh, very burnt. All right, get back in here, linear burn. Now, see, notice how in the color burn, yes, share some brushes with me. That would be amazing. I'm gonna make my own brushes on one of these shows. So see how color burn, now look at linear burn, takes away it's kind of shade. Darken and shade look exactly the same in this one. Let's find a different color and see what happens. Let's take this hue and move it to green. And let's try to draw it in when we're in shade. So here's the green in shade. Now let's change it to darken. And it looks exactly the same. See? I think they look exactly the same. So now in color burn, you can see that it really just brightens that top. Linear burn gives you, if you look really tightly here, you can see where the colors overlap. And it really gives you like a definition in there. Darker color keeps only the darkest colors. So everywhere that's white is now, or light is now like infused with this pink, which, right, puke stain. See, now this is what normal looks like. So this is what this is what the painting actually looks like. It just looks like smooshes of paint. We should find, let's make one more color in here. Let's change that. Ooh. Let's get a blue one. Yeah, let's get this blue in here. And let's put the blue right over the white and there. Okay, there we go. So now lighten. What was lighten again? Let's go back and look at lighten real quick. Lighten doesn't blend pixels. It compares the base and blend colors and keeps the brightest of the two. So we've got the brightest. So only the bright colors. So, but look how that brings her white back out, because the white is very bright. So this would be good for, you could almost get rid of the background. Now screen kind of like washes it all out, except where, go back to screen. Oh, I should be using my keyboard. Haha. Do you know that if you have an external keyboard, you can cycle in between your tabs by pressing Alt Tab. There we go. See, Safari, Audio Share, Translator, App Store, Home Screen, Procreate. Let's go to Safari. Screen produces different levels of brightening depending on the luminosity values of the blend layer. Look at screen. So color dodge. Now look at color dodge. See? Let's go back. Color dodge is based on the dodge tool used to brighten images in traditional photography. It creates a brighter effect in screen by decreasing the contrast between base and blend layers. So that's the saturated midtones and blown out highlights. That looks actually quite cool. And once again, it gives the pie, her white is still there, and it allows you to do all kinds of things to the background when you have a light subject like that. But all of her black spots are tones of pink. It looks really cool. So here's add. We'll flip back to add. Remember, that's Alt Tab. Why is it so green? Add is much like screen or color dodge. It produces a stronger result. It looks at the color information in each channel and brightens the base color. It does this to reflect the blend color by increasing the brightness. As you can see that. See how everything is super bright and just like really shocking? So here's lighter color. Now the lightest, the one with the least luminosity, which you'll see, it functions like lighten, but it takes a composite. So we're looking at a composite. Still, you've got her whites just pop. Now overlay. Ooh, see? Now the colors start to blend back in better. You want to see where that blue is? That blue is barely visible. We could go in and create a little more blue. Nice. It's green and it glows. So that's your overlay, which is a combination of multiply and screen. It both lightens and darkens. It shifts your midtones. Dark blend colors shift the midtones to darker colors. Light tones shift the midtones to brighter colors, which is super cool. Yes, this is a Bluetooth. This is Bluetooth right here. Soft light. Now soft light's even less intense. So it's like a gentler version of overlay. It applies subtle darker or lightening effects. So I like how that works because you got your dark. You use overlay a lot, Denise? Sweet. Now hard light. Hard light ends up with a whole bunch of the top blended, the blend image, which is the top image. It gives you a whole bunch of it right there. It's a combination of multiply and screen. It uses your brightness values of the blend layer to make its calculations. Results with hard light tend to be more intense. Let's reduce the opacity of it to see. Ooh, there you go. See, how that actually, you can do some pretty cool stuff. Right there, look at how you can barely see the color. And then at full, she's just brightened. All right, we're switched to vivid light. Now you can see the difference there. We'll go back quickly. Extreme version of overlay and soft light. Anything darker than 50% gray is darkened. Anything lighter than 50% gray is lightened. So we'll bring that. But see, look how you can get the really excellent results in the back. See where these blues are? It really does some cool stuff to the background layer there. But if you come in and you just, oops. Oh no. I did a paint stroke. Oh wow, watch this. Do the blue over the top. Oh my gosh. Hey, Cover by CQ, what's up? Let's take those off. I'm tapping with 2 fingers to undo. But I will just pop that a little bit up. Now we can see it with our layer menu on. Here we go. And we'll bring this vivid light, or I sometimes call it violent light. See? Whoop, 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 whoop. It's a good idea to not put too many layers in before you start doing this. All right, flip into linear light. As you can see, now I'm on acid looking at my cat. Linear light is a blend mode with strong results. It combines your dodge effects, or up here, it decreases the contrast between base and blend colors. It does dodge effects on light pixels and burn effects on dark pixels. It also probably works better with a little reduced opacity. See, you can take it way down and you still get a lot of look. Right? Looks cool. Let's get that all the way back up. Now pin light. Ooh, see, pin light looks really cool, doesn't it? It performs darken and lighten simultaneously. All the midtones are removed, so only the lights and the darks are left. Bringing that one down. See, it keeps your bright stuff in. You do some really cool stuff here. Yes, just make sure you know which layer you're on. So true. If you're working in your wrong layer, you will end up doing horrible things to your stuff. Okay, now hard mix. Ooh, see what we mean about hard mix? Very attractive. It's an extreme blend mode. It flattens the details. It creates a super flat, super saturated result that looks almost posterized. Hard mix provides a result using only white, black, and any of the 6 primary colors: red, green, blue, cyan, magenta, or yellow. Opacity adjustments can soften the result. Let's soften the result. But yeah, look at those. The hard mixes. Hard mix can sometimes take stuff that looks very intense, like these bright colors splotching over each other. Now you notice that like the darks will still pop out. Looks really cool. Okay, now difference. It uses the difference between the base and blend colors to create the blend. White pixels invert, black pixels produce no change. So let's actually, while we're doing difference, let's take this layer and see, you don't see it, right? So now we'll add a new layer, oops, and we're going to give that one difference. And we're going to paint with only black. So black doesn't change anything, see? That's crazy, right? Because if you changed it to, you can see how much there is. See? Whoop. But we'll just undo blend mode. Okay. All right, now we're undoing the paint strokes. It's so pink, right? So now we're going to come back and we're going to put it all the way to white. Let's see. There we go. If you move the saturation, you've got nothing but white, all right? Now, every time you... No, I've reversed my kitty. And you can obviously do this. Let's undo paint, right? You can take down your opacity, and you can make something that's really got a lot of. Let's find something that has a lot of texture. Here we go. This is just a bunch of dots, right? Now, all the dots are reversing her. See? This is crazy. We'll take that, right? But we'll bring down, this time we'll bring down the opacity. And now you've got what you can actually do, but it's like, it basically gives you sort of almost a halftone feel. Whee! All right, let's kill that layer. That was an example. We'll turn our show layer back on. Let's see where we are. Let's go to exclusion. Now exclusion, you can see her little face better. It doesn't darken grays. It just works like difference, but it doesn't change the grays, which is why it looks like I could take and we'll use an eraser. Let's find out what kind of eraser we have. Let's use this disco eraser. Right? Now only little bits of it are being erased, so some of this color still stays. How cool does that look? Let's go in and exclusion this till it's very, very narrow, right? Bubble pie. Oops. I just threw a couple of this pure white color in there. See if it messes things up. All right, well, now we're going to head to subtract. Ooh, subtract looks wild. And let's take the... Ooh. Taking it up and down, that gives you a whole bunch of interesting... Kind of looks like an eyeball, right? It does. I like that eyeball look. All right, let's flip over and check out subtract. Subtract darkens colors in a drastic manner. It subtracts brightness. Light areas darken the most, while already dark areas produce little change. Divide is the opposite of subtract. Dark colors create brighter results, while already light areas produce little change. So let's flip straight to that. Ooh. Now, see? See how if you've got these colors over her fur, some of them are actually... It looks kind of cool. Bringing down the opacity. Brings down the whole thing. Super cool. Oops. All right, almost down to the bottom. Okay, hue. Now we'll go back to explaining these. Hue, to change the hues in a layer while remaining the tones and saturation of the original. So the original is a black and white, so of course you're not going to see that. But if we came back in and say, changed this. Oh, I can't undo it. Ooh. Brightness. All it does is really, the hue is just really changing the, so I've kind of I've left myself without a, yes, she's a punk pie. So hue doesn't do anything, but let's try saturation. Saturation doesn't seem to do anything either because it's produced the luminosity and hue while adopting the saturation of the blend layer. Maybe if I move my, let's change them around. We'll turn this one back to normal. We'll change this one. Just, there we go. There's the hue. So, hue, yes, someone called for hue. Meow. I always call Hugh by going meow. See? Now here's the saturation. Now see the little colors? The color hops up. The luminosity. Now we ask, divide, subtract. She looks weird. Divide. So saturation, noticing now that some of the colors are coming back in. So it's just taking, and it's putting everything, it's putting the pie color, which preserves the luminosity while adopting the hue and saturation. So now it's kind of bringing in. This is cool, see? Because here you can take something and you can kind of take out its, hey, look, see, meow does work. Oh, now luminosity. We're going to look at luminosity. Preserves the hue and saturation of the base layer while adopting the luminosity of the blend layer. So now we have the luminosity of the pie. The pie is so luminous, she just shows up. And now we bring her luminosity out. Here comes back her luminosity. She's so luminous, the pie. Who is changing? Who is changing? All right. I think that gives you a kind of a decent idea of what the blend layers are like in Procreate. So we need to pop over to Superimpose X because that's the other one I use all the time. And layers are a little bit different on this. And there's fewer blending modes, but it does have some interesting layer stuff. I'm going to just put in a pattern where, let's see. Here we go. There's our pattern. We'll take that and we'll put in our pattern. Because this pattern will be a fun thing. The pie who loved me. All right, so we're in the layers mode. And if you press this plus, it'll give you all these things to do for a layer. Let's just take a photo. I'm going to try to find one that's got my artwork pieces there. Let's put this artwork piece in. And we're going to hit transform for a second to fit it to the canvas. Now we're going to go back to layer. We're going to see there's all these things, so you can actually crop your layer. So when you're in layer menu, which is right here, you can crop your layer, which means you can start changing the whole thing. You can crop the entire canvas or you can crop your layer. But we're going to X out of that because I don't want to do that. You can change your full canvas size. You can cast a shadow, which obviously is not going to work better. Let's put something small in. Let's take a stock photo and we're going to bring this in. Whoa, why did that happen? We're going to bring in this stock photo. Wow. I might have to do something else. Well, bring in a regular photo. Let's grab the pie and let's auto mask the pie. Whoop, there we go. We'll have to change. Let's get rid of this. Just gonna go in here. Just don't want to get rid of all her things. I want to show you that's not the best mask. I know. And then we'll bring her bounding box in. Then I'll show you what we do with this layer. Okay, there she is. Now we're in layers. We can cast shadow. See, now she casts a shadow. And see this little thing? There's her shadow. Look at that. How cool, right? The pie, the pie, the pie, the pie. See? This shadow stuff is crazy. You can move the shadow over, in. You can also take the shadow opacity down. You can blur the shadow. Bring the opacity back up. Yeah, check that out. So now you can kind of get anywhere where your light is. So that's one of the things Layers menu does in Superimpose. Wow, isn't that cool? And then there's this light wrap. Light wrap, spread, opacity. Do you see how it changes? You could see, look at how, you have to look really closely at her edge. See how the light wrap opacity is changing. Let's change the ambiance. Woo, you can kind of see how you get the colors like light up right there. With the ambience down, with the ambience up, it makes it very bright. And now you can actually blend your light wrap. So using these they're the same things, they mean the same thing. Lighten, darken, color dodge. But it's subtle, see? The color burn is the least subtle. There's soft light, hard light, difference, exclusion, hue, but this is just her light wrap. Saturation, color, luminosity. It just changes how she looks. You can see it. Like hard light makes her looks really cool, right? Color burn makes her look a little weird around the edges because she's light wrapped. I thought hard light actually gives you the best. But see, her shadow is just right there. I know, she looks so real. Let's finish that. So now we have blend. After all of that, then we have blend. And then here's your opacity. You could bring her so you could barely see her. Whoop, 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 whoop. And then her whole self gets to be multiplied, screened, overlay, darken, lighten. You can see that the same kind of stuff is happening. See, color dodge, color burn, soft light, hard light, difference, exclusion, hue, saturation, color, luminosity, plus darker, plus lighter. So these have a plus darker and plus lighter, which are cool if you're using them. Her fur is very soft. I'm going to put it back to normal. Ooh, sorry. I just got overwhelmed by sneeziness. Do 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 do. If you go crop canvas, crop layer, see? I can crop the layer. But what if I wanted to crop the canvas? Now you can actually go and you can make the whole thing as small as just her. Let's go 2300 to 2300. Whoop. See, now I just touched 101 to 1 to 1. See, if it's 1 to 1, 5 to 4, 4 to 3, 3 to 2, 16 to 10, 16 to 9, 4 to 5. Now look at that. Now the entire thing is just like this. That is really cool. That's what your layers will do inside of... Oh, the kitty. I know. I like her. She's so pretty. Looks so real. Gives you an allergy. Did I say hi to you, Professor Boomer? Hello, Professor Boomer. Boomer. Let's see. Is there anything else that layers will work for? Oh yeah, I was gonna try some blending modes over this base layer. So let's hide the pie. And we're gonna play with a layer over the top of we're gonna add the layer to this second one, and we're gonna blend it with this bottom thing. So back to blend. Now we'll look at multiply. See, so that puts in this texture from underneath. The screen overlay, mostly darken, starting to look kind of cool. Lighten, doesn't look like color dodge, but you can see because of the pattern. Like, see now in color burn, you can start to see some of the other stuff, but it is burnt in basically. So hard light, that sort of gives you can see the stuff, you can see the outlines of it. There's the difference mode, so that looks really cool. Exclusion. The hue, you can see how the colors are popping from underneath. Saturation, you see the same thing happening, only the more saturated colors. Luminosity. That one looks really cool. Basically, that's taking the luminosity of the top layer and applying it to the underneath layer. Yes, I'm getting an allergic reaction. Plus darker. Plus lighter. I mean, that looks really cool. But, so you could keep that and then go back to editor. We'll take this one, and just for fun, we'll go layers, blend, and we'll just take the opacity down so you can see less of what's underneath coming through. And then so when you're tapping on these layers, you can delete it, you can merge it down, you can duplicate it, you can replace it. Replacing it gives it the same footprint. You can auto crop it. You can make it the canvas size, which is really useful for your top layers to give you room. Well, first we'll show layer. This will show you the very current layer, so you untap that one. View blended image, undo the layers, redo the layers. That's right up here at the top. This is show your layers, hide layers. Show current layer only, hide, or show whole thing. Right on. So, let's see. One last thing before we head over to Jade's. I'm going to show you what it means to let's make canvas size. So now she's not just tiny in here, which means I could take the editor and I could distort her. Whoops. Distort, warp. I could warp her all the way to the edge, whereas if she was bounded, Jade's doing another show after. See? If she was bounded, she would end at the boundaries. But now, she's expanding. No! Make her stop expanding. So that you can use that to blend or smudge something all over the entire layer. But we don't want to warp her. She looks pretty on her background. I think we've done everything we need to do for today. Pie's been eating a lot of treats. Yeah, she's a chunkster. All right, let's put my zoom face back on. I'm going to say goodbye to you with my face really quick. Boom. It's my face! All right, coming up next, we've got Jade Star with Techno by Baby Audio, and then we have real techno music from Russ 8889 Rhythm Republic Radio, a really cool new offering in our week. And then, of course, tomorrow, Thomas Christ, or me, doing my Fur and Frets. I'm going to play at least one song on acoustic again, unless I get sick again. And then we'll have Jade, and then we'll have Thomas and You Rock. I believe there may still be room in You Rock. Let us know if that's wrong. But I have enjoyed very much sharing my obsession with art programs with you today. So I will see y'all very soon. Like over at Jade's. Like, why not? Big love, everybody. And carry all your peace straight into your day. Boom. Must be in tonight. Send in your track for You Rock TV. Dum 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 dum.